All right, we're going to play one more for you. That was an original of ours called The Lies. This isn't our event, but if you are interested in our music, we have links up there. It's free. That's the last bit of self-promo we're going to do. We're going to end with a cover. It's originally by Nick Lowe, and then Elvis Costello did it. It's called What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding. As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light and darkness, sanity. Oh yeah, I ask myself, is all hope lost? Searching for light and darkness, insanity. Oh yeah, and each time I feel I slip it away, it just makes me wanna cry. Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light and darkness in this world. Oh yeah. So where I stand and who I've trusted, and where is the harmony, sweet harmony? And each time I feel I slip it away, there's one thing I wanna know. Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? And each time I feel that slipping away, there's one thing I wanna know. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Thank you, we're room 13. Hope you enjoy the rest of the morning, afternoon. We'll be back later.
Good morning, everybody. Buen dia. Thank you for coming today. My name is Robert Seda Schreiber, and I'm the chief activist of the Bayard Rustin Center for Social Justice. And I could not be more honored and feel more loved than seeing all of you out here today. Thank you so, so much. It's imperative that we do this today and every day. I want to thank Room 13 for starting us off. I know they have some fans in the audience, some old fans and some new fans, so they'll be playing again at the end of the rally, so hang out for that. I do promise you this, we want to be as inspirational as possible today, but we're also very aware of the weather, so we're going to be as brief as possible as well. But we're going to get our message across, and we're going to make sure we inspire, we educate, we elucidate, we collaborate, we respect, protect, and love all our people. I want to thank Brian Rowe for coming out today and interpreting sign language for us so everybody can be involved. These kind of connections are the kind of connections that make me believe this dream can be a reality, this dream of being of great service. My mother carried me in her womb as she marched on Washington to end the war. My wife held my hand as we marched on Washington to declare women's rights are human rights. My son's band opened this rally. My dad made me the shirt I wear, my new favorite shirt, that bears the insignia of the Bayard Rustin Center for Social Justice. I cannot bear the thought of ever losing these people, being separated from my family, mi familia. Nor do I have to, because I am safe. They are safe. We are safe here. But so many of our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers, our sons and daughters are not. They are literally being torn from each other in our country, by our government, in our name. In our name. That is far more than unacceptable, far greater than even heartbreaking. It is tragedy writ large, so large 100 books cannot describe it. 1,000 jumbotrons cannot visualize it. And 1,000,000 radios cannot communicate it. But we must speak to it, shout it out, only by putting our words, our actions, ourselves behind it, in front of it, and making it crystal to all those who will listen, and more imperatively, to all those who will not. We need to shout with our voices, our hearts, our souls, our bodies. This is not who we are. This is not who we are as a nation, as a people, as a family, nor will we ever allow it to be again. We must simply say now and forevermore, no more, no mas, no more, no mas, no more, no mas, no more, no mas. Let me hear from you. You are beautiful. We love you today and every day. Now we have to do some tools of the devil kind of stuff. Social media. Please live tweet at Rustin Center. RUSTINCENTER at Rustin Center at Move On. Hashtag families belong together. Forgive me, I just learned that this very week, so we just started, but I know it's important to get the message across. Thank you so much for being here. Let's start by unifying ourselves. I'd like to introduce one of my good friends, David Saylor, one of our board members of the BRCSJ, my core coordinator, one of my best friends, and my guru in all things political and social. We'd like to start by saying this, and please repeat after us. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Thank you. So I'd like to start our program today. Everybody we have coming up here today is an inspiration to me personally, and I am honored and so proud that I get to share this stage with them. Our first speaker today is Tasneem Sultan, the executive director and co-founder of La Convivencia, means Coexistence, a local nonprofit that combats intolerance, racism, and stereotypes. Please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's such an honor to speak at this rally today, but truly, I am deeply saddened by the fact that today we are fighting for something that should already have been given to these families in the first place, the right to be amongst their family. At what point in time did Americans lose sense of humanity, our sense of morality, and at what point in the history of humanity did we approve the idea of taking children away from their parents? These ideas of compassion, kindness, and respect seems to be not important to our government. The issue today is not whether these people illegally cross the border, because whatever situation is, every human on this earth deserves human rights. Which includes staying together with the rest of their families. So why should we treat these people even differently? Every human should be offended when another human does not receive the basic human rights, and we should all be taking action. It is critical that we stand together with these families and raise our voices, and let's encourage our government to live up to this demand of our faith and American traditions. And although I'm sad that we must have this rally in the first place, I'm glad to see that everyone has come out today to fight for the rights of our fellow humans and the idea that family belongs together. Now, we need to let our Congress people know that we want action to be taken, because family don't just deserve to be together. Family have the right to be together. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tasneem. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. One more time, please. Show your love and respect. Now it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Leonard Wainabura from the American Federations of Teachers, the Vice President of his local. Please welcome him.
Dear friends, I'm Leonard, but today I speak not for myself, but the 1.8 million educators and healthcare workers of the professionals of the AFT, America's largest union. On June 20th, Randy Weingarten, president of the AFT, went to the United Nations and filed a human rights complaint against President Donald Trump, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen, and this administration for cruel behavior at the border, where they're separating immigrant children from their families who are legally seeking asylum. Americans, from religious leaders to former first ladies, have been pleading with the Trump administration to stop its zero-tolerance policy and enforcement actions terrorizing immigrant communities. That's why the AFT has taken this step, to formally file a complaint with the United Nations. Zero-tolerance policy that separates children from their families violates numerous international laws, including the UN Convention Against Torture, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This policy also violates the spirit of who we are as Americans. We are a nation of immigrants, strengthened by diversity. An overwhelming number of Americans oppose these policies. We shudder to think that America is building prison camps for refugee children. When our government rips crying children from their parents' arms, we must all stand up. These are parents and children seeking asylum. We have a moral obligation to help them. That's why our complaint is joined by labor, immigration, civil rights, and faith groups. This administration is failing its moral obligation to these people who are seeking asylum and ultimately to us. This is a crisis, and we honestly never thought the United States would be doing something so cruel and disheartening in 2018. This complaint is just one step in the fight against these policies. We all need to stand up and declare our opposition to this immoral activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leonard. That was inspirational. I'm proud to say that I was a teacher for 25 years, and it's an incredibly important contribution to our society, and none of us would be here without that, right? So, I'd like to welcome up someone who, we're pretty much guests in her spot right now. I'd like to welcome Mayor Liz Lempert of Princeton. Thank you for hosting us.
Good afternoon. We stand here in solidarity with all of the people around the country who are marching and rallying today. And we call upon Congress and the administration to move quickly and openly to reunite separated children with their parents. Families belong together. Here in Princeton, we recognize and celebrate the diversity that makes our town such a special place. We are a welcoming community, and a proud welcoming community. You can clap for that. We work every day with our residents and our community partners, LOUDEF, the Clergy Association, the Public Library, the public schools, the university, our police, and so many of the other groups here today to make Princeton a safe and welcoming community for all who live, work, and study here. But we need to do more and fight harder. Look, we're all human. You see the news, and often our first reaction is to despair, to find solace with like-minded friends on Facebook, or to take a break from the news because it's too much to bear. But in reality, the best cure for despair is not to wallow in it. The best cure for despair is to act. The stakes are super high. We all need to be working our tails off between now and November. And here's the good news. The good news is, luckily for most of us here, we live in New Jersey. And that's because in this election, New Jersey will likely determine whether the House of Representatives goes blue. To flip 5 districts from Republican to Democratic this year. There's never been a better time to help. I'm urging you today, if you haven't already, plug into one of the campaigns, help them register voters, make calls, knock on doors, and write a check. And there's something else we all can do. Something that may seem small, but can be super meaningful. And this is something you can do whether you're 4 years old or whether you're 104 or anywhere in between. Each of us has the ability to make someone else feel a sense of connection and belonging. And each of us helps to shape the kind of community we live in. Now more than ever, simple acts of everyday kindness can help our neighbors feel less alone and can bind our communities closer together when there are so many outside forces trying to divide us. So be kind, get motivated, embrace democracy. Now is the time to act.
Thank you, Mayor Liz. One more time, please. And let me say this, we are guests here today, so please leave this plaza cleaner than you found it. I know you all will. Just want to make sure. I want to introduce our next speaker, someone who at the early stages of we were setting up the BRCSJ was kind to us, and we've done numerous things together and hope to do many, many more meaningful things in the future. Adriana Apizadeh, the Executive Director of Latin American Legal Defense and Education Fund.
Hi, everybody. Woo! Yeah, you guys should give a round of applause to yourselves for being here. It's a hot day. Thank you for coming out. You guys are coming out en masse, as over 700 of these events and rallies and marches are occurring throughout our nation today. We're all here in unity and unison with everybody else today. There's going to be millions of people marching and rallying around this effort. I want to take a step back and just realize that the change that we are trying to make is already in motion. So 2 weeks ago, like 2 Thursdays ago, we were here and we had a rally. Not as many of you, there was about 200 or so. And at that time, we were just still trying to figure out how to end family separation, how to get people to stop being separated at the border. 2 weeks later, fast forward, we have an executive order. It was a little half-assed, but we had one. Hey, call it, right? But we got an injunction, and that was the huge part. We got an injunction, right? And so, yeah, woo! That injunction prevents more families from being separated and forces our government, forces DHS, Department of Homeland Security, CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, ICE, they're forcing them to reunify these families that have been separated. And we know that there's timelines on this, but we also know that they don't have the capacity to do it within that time. There's attorneys from across the nation that are going to be going down to Texas and Arizona to assist DHS on a volunteer basis so that we can reunify families. There's private sector organizations and companies that have DNA testing kits that have been donated to the federal government because they don't have the capacity to figure out whose child belongs to who. That's a problem, right? We got past the initial problem, but we have to keep fighting. There is still a much larger problem here, and that problem is that we don't know where these kids go. The second part of that is some of their parents have already been deported. So we have children here when their parents are already back in the Northern Triangle countries, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, without their children. They presented at the border seeking asylum as a unified front and are leaving our country in separate planes, in separate trains, in separate vehicles because our policies couldn't figure out how to keep families together. That's a problem. So instead of continuing to outline the problems, what do we do from here? What still needs to be done? It's because of people like you and because of those around the nation that have unified their voice towards this effort that we've gotten where we're at. But it is not done. We need laws in place that prevent this from occurring again in this presidency and in another one. That's the first thing. So call your representatives. Tell them that this matters to you and that you do not want to stand by and allow your country to set up policies that allow them to separate families. That's the first thing. What's the second thing? You need to continue to stay in this fight. This is not the only issue that has presented over the last 18 months. This is one of many. And we are all getting exhausted, and we are all getting tired out, but we cannot give up. We are the collective. We are the voice. We are our community. So please stay engaged. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The Latin American Legal Defense Fund has done so much incredible work. Please support them as you support us, and you support all the groups that are working so hard to make sure our country represents what our country should represent. Thank you. So, I am very excited about this next bit. It is warm out here. I appreciate that. And you know what the best thing about being warm is you can cool off with some wonderful inspirational singing. And I want to introduce some friends of mine coming all the way from Montclair, from Brooklyn, from Pennington, from Hopewell. who have gathered together in the last few days just to put together a few songs for you, and please do them the honor and respect of singing along and enjoying their wonderful melodies. Thank you very much. These are the BRCSJ Singers.
All right, we all need to get ready and get on a train for justice, right? Here we go. People get ready, there's a train a-coming. Don't need no ticket, you just get on board. This train is bound for glory, this train is bound for glory, this train is bound for glory. Children, get on board. This train is bound for glory, this train is bound for glory, this train is bound for glory. Children, get on board. Families belong together, families belong together, families belong together. We're gonna get on board. Families belong together, families belong together, families belong together. We're gonna get on board. People, get ready. There's a train a-coming. Don't need no ticket. You just get on board. People, get ready. There's a train a-coming. Don't need no ticket. You just get on board. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. And this train is bound for glory. We're gonna get on board. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. We're gonna get on. Families belong. Families belong together. Families belong together. Families belong together. We're gonna get on board. Babies need their mamas. Need their mamas. Babies need their mamas. Babies need their mamas. We're gonna get on. Babies need their papas. Babies need their papas. Babies need their papas. Babies need their papas. We're gonna get on. Families belong together. Families belong together. Families belong together. We're gonna get on board. All right, here we go. We're gonna stand together. We're gonna stand together. We're gonna stand together. We're gonna stand together. We're gonna get on board. Again. We're gonna stand together. We're gonna stand together. We're gonna stand together. We're gonna get on board. Never gonna give up hope now. 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 We're gonna get on board. Never gonna give up hope now. Never gonna give up hope now. Never gonna give up hope now. We're gonna get on. People, get ready. People, get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no ticket. Just get on board. People, get ready. There's a train coming. Don't need no ticket. You just get on board. Families belong together. Families belong together. Families belong together. Families belong together. We're gonna get on board. One more time. Families belong together. Families belong together. Families belong together. We're gonna get on board. Let's stay on that train.
Get on that train! Thank you, the BRCSJ Singers! And thank you all for staying with us. Just so you know, we are by far the largest rally in New Jersey today. So thank you. We had over 650 people sign up. We don't have an official count yet, but I will have one for you by the end of the day. But I know we have already exceeded that number. So thank you. Now what I want you to do is this. How many of you have a phone? Take it out! Now, please. Whatever social media you use, I'm going to give you what you should use for Twitter, but if you Facebook or Instagram, whatever else you choose to use, please tweet out right now that you are here We've had over 50 tweets thus far about this event. Let's see if we can double, triple, quadruple that right now. Please tweet out at Rustin Center, at RUSTINCENTER, at Move On, hashtag Families Belong Together. And then write whatever you want. I'm not going to tell you what to write. You can talk about how handsome I am. You can talk about how inspirational this moment is. You can talk about how great the singers were, how great Adriana was. Anything you want to tweet about. Your group, your organization representing here. I know we have many groups here, and I wish I could thank you all. But your support and your kindness and your respect and your love mean a great deal to all of us today. So please tweet that out right now. Let's let people know that we are here and we are standing up. We are a voice for the voiceless and a friend to the friendless.
Can you repeat?
Yes. All right. So again, at Rustin Center, RUSTINCENTER. At Move On, hashtag Families Belong Together. And then tweet to your heart's content. Tools of the devil. So thank you so much. I want to now introduce our last two speakers. I want to introduce a good friend and an important person fighting the fight in her daily life, Dr. Eleanor Vo, forensic psychiatrist since 2010. Dr. Vo, please join us.
I want to thank all you guys for coming out today. I'm too short.
There's no such thing as too short.
You know, when people think about child abuse, the first thing they think about is physical abuse. Oops, sorry. When people think about child abuse, the first thing they think about is physical abuse, but really it's the separation, neglect, and alienation. And we've seen this in the past with parent alienations, where parents in divorced families took their children from their parents. And children that are separated from parents have higher risks of anxiety, depression, and substance abuse. They're also less likely to get higher educations, go to school, get vocational options. And one of the things that is happening with all this separation is parents and kids being away from each other, which is not the answer. My husband came from Vietnam. Sorry. And he was lucky. His dad was a soldier, so his family stayed together. But separating children from parents is not the answer, and alienation is not the answer. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Vo. Those kind of stories need to be told. And obviously, they're not always easy. But we need to hear them. We need to share them. And we need to embrace them as our own so we can understand what we are all going through. Because social justice is only social justice if it's social. We need to connect with each other, empathize with each other, connect with each other, and make it in our hearts. So please, take everything you hear today home to your people. Our last speaker today is the Reverend Carol S. Haig from the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton. Please welcome her.
My applause for all of you for being here. We are gathered here because we are all members of families. We came from families. Many of us have families. We all know families, and we know that families should stay together. We are gathered here, all kinds of people, all colors, all sizes, all ages, all faiths or no faiths, all genders. We are gathered here together because we know it is an atrocity to separate children from their parents. We know that it causes lifelong emotional harm, and we know that it is against every ethic and value that we hold. We live in New Jersey. New Jersey is the home of the Statue of Liberty. Her name is Mother of Exiles. And she proclaims, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp before this golden door." Our country has been a symbol of refuge to the world. Our country has been a haven for people fleeing from violence. Our country is built upon immigrants who have come here for freedom and a chance to build a better life. And now, our country, in our name, is tearing families apart, refusing sanctuary, refusing to provide refuge. We must take back this country of welcome. We know there have been some slight modifications, but families are continuing to be sent to jail indefinitely. They do not have legal representation. Internment camps is child abuse, and they deserve a real chance for asylum. But it is not enough to bewail and be outraged by what is happening. We must take action right here in New Jersey. And I would like to name 3 organizations that are doing the work and that we can join and support. The New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice. They are focusing on ending detention in New Jersey. They are focusing on increasing legal representation, and they are focusing on giving people the right to have a driver's license so they're not arrested when they're going to work. Second, you have just heard from the Latin American Legal Defense and Education Fund. They are supporting immigrant families in New Jersey, and we can join them to end immigrant detection in the Essex County Jail. And closer to home, there is Not in Our Town. It's a group that's been working for years on civil rights of all kinds. They're right here. They meet here in the library the first Monday of every month. So let's take action. Join or help or support or give money or give time or give energy to the 3 organizations I've named. New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice, Latin America Legal Defense and Education Fund, and Not in Our Town. Work for candidates who stand for our country's best values. Vote for candidates who stand for our country's best values. Keep our families together.
Thank you, Reverend Carol, and thank you everybody again for being here today. Nothing happens in a vacuum, of course, so there are a couple of folks and organizations and that we have to pay respects to. So please allow me to thank the Coalition for Peace and Reverend Bob Moore. I want to thank Princeton, especially Deb Mercantini, Jeff Maurer, and the entire Princeton Police Department. I want to thank Blue Jersey for live streaming. Please make sure you check out the live stream. I want to thank the Latin American Legal Defense and Education Fund, Rob Capavincia, the American Federation of Teachers, Indivisible, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton. I want to thank Staples of West Windsor. They are very kind in making our signs and giving us a little bit of a break. I want to thank the wonderful inspiration of the members, friends, and allies of the Bayard Rustin Center for Social Justice, especially Ann and David Saylor, and Steph Salvador, who has been running around all day as my stage manager, showrunner, and just extraordinary person all the way around. So please. And lastly, I want to thank my family, my wife, my son, my mom, my dad, my friends, and my family, who I'm looking at right now. Thank you. So I promised you an official count. By our estimation, and I guess estimation maybe contradicts official, but by our estimation, we have over 800 folks here today. You have made a difference. You will make a difference. One more time, tweet that out. Facebook, post, Instagram, whatever the kids are calling it, whatever they're using, do it. At Rustin Center, RUSTINCENTER. And whilst you're there, please follow us. At Move On, hashtag families belong together. Let's let everybody know we were here today, and let's move it forward. This is what I ask of you. There are over 800 of us here today. Let's pledge to meet again and make it 1,600. What you saw, what you heard, what you felt here today, bring it home. Bring it home. And on your way out, please make sure, if you haven't already, sign up for our mailing list. We want to connect with you. We want to make sure that you're aware of everything we're going to do, and we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. And don't assume because you signed up for the event that we have your address. We do not. Move On respects your privacy and will not share your email addresses with us. So even if you signed up for the event, please sign up for our mailing list, please. We have a lot to do. Today was a hot day, and you all made it through. Indeed, we have a lot more hot days, we have a lot more cold days, but each day will be that much better by being together. Thank you. And it is my extraordinary pleasure, one last time, to introduce the band Room 13 to play us out. Have a wonderful, inspirational, beautiful rest of your day. Thank you, Princeton.